Welcome to the second video. Thank you for clicking over to this video, I guess. Keeps you a little bit more informed than otherwise. But let's jump right into it. I'd like to start with talking about preconceptions and how they kind of impact our daily life. We have this idea already in our heads of how things should be, how things should go, how people should act, how people should react, how people should be, what they should think, etc., etc. All preconceptions, our ideas before any additional facts are added. And our preconceptions are constantly changing because information is always coming in, we're always analyzing it. And so your preconception going into a situation will always be a culmination of all of your experiences about that situation. So if you have tons and tons of crappy job interviews and then you go into another job interview, you're going to expect it to be crappy. You're going to kind of expect them to say bad things and then reject you. Not from personal experience, but the preconception is still there. It is imperative that we kind of put aside our preconceptions when we're going into a situation that we haven't really encountered before, because we hear all this different stuff and then when we actually get into the situation it's probably going to be completely different than we had expected. Same goes for situations that have happened tons and tons of times before, even recently. Every situation is different. It's not always going to play out the same, and so going in with the preconception that it's going to be bad or that it's going to be good can be detrimental to the situation, because what you think will happen probably will happen, because you'll have that sort of attitude about it that will negatively or sometimes positively affect the outcome. So if you go into a job interview expecting it to go badly, you're probably not going to be too enthusiastic about actually going into it, and that'll probably not help. Preconceptions can be good because they allow us to anticipate what's going to happen, but they can also be extremely damaging, like I just mentioned. So I would like to urge you that if you have preconceptions, don't always follow them. Kind of just push them to the side and go in thinking, okay, this will be a new experience, and it will add to my preconceptions of the next experience that I'm going to have that is the same. And going in thinking that it's going to be a new experience and that something's going to happen that you haven't encountered before can be helpful. So now I'd like to talk about the 5-hour energy drink commercials. I have noticed that the 5-hour energy drink bottles that they have, that they pull out and drink, are actually empty. You can tell because when they put it down on the counter, it actually moves a little bit more once they take their hand away, which means that it's relatively light and can be moved easily. So they don't actually drink anything. They're already empty bottles and they're just pretending to drink, and that's very obvious. Also, the commercials are very odd. For example, the chick that doesn't want to get up and work out, she says, who really needs to work out? Oh wait, I do. And she doesn't. She's thin, so she doesn't need to work out to work off fat. I mean, to stay healthy, yes, but that's not the obvious overtone in the commercial. Also, the guy who wakes up and doesn't want to go to work, get ready for work, whatever, very cheesy at the end where he's like, okay, let's do this, straightens up his tie and goes out the door, and great. Yes, I know they're commercials, and yes, I know they're probably supposed to be either funny or motivating or something. Just aren't. They're not at all. I think they could have done a much better job of advertising their product. But that's just my opinion, so leave it at that. Okay, now on to all of this up here. Because of the light, you might not be able to see. I do have a little bit of hair right here. It comes down to about right here. But otherwise, it's right here is bald up to about here. and then it's thinning like all the way up here. So I am definitely balding. But I had a very interesting experience with me and balding. I was out at Wendy's with my dad having dinner, because Wendy's makes a great dinner, and that's not sarcasm, that's not a lie. I actually really like Wendy's and having dinner there. But a person, not an acquaintance, that I kind of knew from working at the Sunlit Garden restaurant, came up to me, and through a course of several questions and answers, he got to the part about me balding at 22, and he's like, wow, you're balding already? Are you going to go over to the clinic and get your hair replaced? And so I asked him if it was permanent, and he said yes, they take it from the back apparently and put it in the front, and so your hair doesn't actually grow, it's just kind of there, I guess. But I have also seen these unbalding commercials on TV or the internet, and I don't think I want to do that. I don't think that I want to get my hair replaced. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to look fine. I won't be hideous without all of this. I mean, I'll probably be one of those guys who like has a ring of hair all around here, and then just from here up and then a little circle up here will just be bald. So I'll just have like this landing strip right there. And I really don't have a problem with that. I don't see it causing any problems for me. If I really don't like it, then I'll just probably just shave all my hair off instead of replacing the hair on my head. But I don't know. Along that line of balding, a question was raised by Brittany's official. I have answered some of her questions before, but this is kind of, I already answered it in a comment on her video, but I want to kind of bring it up here as well because we're on the topic of balding. But in today's society, a guy's looks isn't as important as a girl's looks. Girls are kind of pressured into always looking good, having great hair, looking fancy or pretty or beautiful or whatever, whereas guys really don't have that stigma towards them. There just isn't one there. There isn't a particular pressure on guys to look good. I mean, of course, there are certain situations like business meetings where it's very necessary for a businessman to look good, like clean shaven, hair's brushed or combed or whatever. And so that's kind of the same between businessmen and businesswomen and sort of that general area. But in general, just seeing people out and about, you don't really look at guys like, oh, that guy looks really bad, he should look better. But if you see a girl who is like same level of disorganization as the guy, you would probably say, oh wow, she could look better. And that's just kind of society's sexism, I suppose. But yeah, enough about that. So if you wanted to rehear anything that I just said in this video, those links will be right up here, and they have been throughout the entire video, so you've probably noticed them. Also, down that corner, will take you back to the first video. So if you want to see that one again, it's there. Otherwise, you have been filled in on everything that I wanted to talk about since the last video. I don't know what date it is today, so I should probably look that up, huh?
Computer ready.
The date is March 12th, so yay! I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's it. So I'll leave you with that, and have a nice day.